men have said to me like, you know, I make the plan, I make the date. She wants me to make the plan. She makes the date. She wants to be more romantic, right? And I make an effort and I do all this, right? And I go, so it's a fun evening. Yeah, but I didn't feel like Italian food.
It's no accident that sounds like you're leveling up in a video game. 48% of 18 to 29-year-olds have an online dating profile.
Make them work for it.
45% of people say they're more frustrated with this form of dating than hopeful.
There are so many people you can connect with.
Should I swipe right?
Swipe wrong. Swipe wrong. Setting the record straight on dating apps. Everyday people telling everyday stories of the swipe right world with your host, Chaos.
Well, I know he had a good time.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and of course, good night. Welcome to the Swipe Wrong podcast. I am your host, I'm Chaos. All right, look, that's just kind of a play on my last name. All right, it's KOSS, Chaos. Okay, all right, just so people like, I'm not that crazy, insane. Well, I mean, all right, so that may not be true too. So welcome to the number one podcast amongst people who think sex should be a sport, because I tell you, if chess is considered a sport and if golf is considered a sport and sex doesn't have any classification of a sport, what? Really? What? Come on. I get intimacy and all that stuff, but it's very sporting, very sporting. How's everybody doing today? Hopefully you're outstanding and hopefully you've enjoyed the shows so far. Like, follow, subscribe, make sure you tell friends, let people know what's going on. So here is the part where I feel like this is a part of the responsibility of maybe or the help that we're trying to give. We're even working on a book for goodness sake. I can't remember the last time I said goodness sake. I feel like my grandma was just talking to me or something. God rest her soul. But like, because of the things that we've learned and the things that we've gone through, we have a few episodes coming up to where we're just trying to like, all right, maybe some of this information would be good. I was lucky. I'm super lucky. I have this really, really big personality. I don't know where it came from. I don't know what happened. But this is actually tamed down than what you might see if you meet me in person. And lucky enough to be a part of the Frank Talk Summit and be somebody who could host that with some really amazing people. So what Jay and I thought would be a good idea, and kind enough for some of the hosts and the much smarter people than myself, to have them come on and share some of their insights and some of the things that they've learned. Their coaches, their dating coaches, their life coaches. Today, actually, in this episode, we have Andre Paradis, who is Project Equinox is where you can find him at. But he's like full service. He's even a minister. Like, he will, from start to finish, like he's got some interesting takes. He's got some perspective that not everybody is on board with. But what I learned that as I kind of went through some time with him and the other people is there's plenty of people who he speaks I guess he speaks to, like, they're like, oh yes, this makes perfect sense, and I get it, like I totally understand it. So what I wanted to do was have a conversation with him just about what he does, some of his perspective, and hopefully get it to cascade to you guys on the show, to where, as you're out there dating and as you're doing some of this, that maybe it will benefit you, and you'll like some aha moments. And he's gracious enough, as he actually has an offer that he puts out for everybody for free, like his book for free, and a couple other things for free as well. This is a bit of a different episode. We have a couple of these coming up that are like this, but Andre Paradis, Project Equinox. Hopefully this is something that you can catch either on the YouTube channel or through the podcast feed that you guys like and you enjoy. And either way, that time for me to get away and let the show. Oh! I know what I've been missing. You know what you got to do? You got to sit back, relax, put your feet up, grab your popcorn, and put put butter on it or caramel on it, whatever it is that you want to put on it. And for the love of everything goodness, if you're in traffic, please don't hit that person next to you. And enjoy Andre from Project Equinox.
Disclaimer: the views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the speaker and do not necessarily reflect the views or opinions or any entities they represent. This podcast is about dating experiences. It is not to say one dating app is better or worse than another.
What I learned about you is you don't just do one thing. You have like 7 things. Like what? You marry people, you get people together. Like I understand like Golden Corral is a full service place, but you are definitely a full service place, right?
Well, I guess to a degree. I mean, like it's funny because it started years ago. I had, my business kind of grew exponentially through my friends. And so at one point, I'm at the gym 5 days a week. So my network becomes the gym, and they all know me. And they, often people will say, "You're always talking." I'm like, "I know," because people come at me. They're like, helping my girlfriend. What's up with this guy? Or like they come at me, and so people watching are like, "You're always talking." I'm like, "It's not my fault." Right? It's just like they all know me, right? I my gym is huge, so
Sure.
I end up being there for 2.5 hours sometimes because half the time I'm being interrupted. So all good because it becomes it's a network and actually get clients from that. And so this was years and years ago. I was at Gold's Gym in North Hollywood. I'm not there, nowhere near there anymore. But that was I had my grounding place for when I had my other business. It was 2 minutes from anyway. So I went to Gold's at lunchtime every day, and that was my network then. And so there was a young guy, Latino guy, Carlos, who we're all friends, we're all pals, we're all like, "What's up?" You know what I mean? Like,
sure.
Because we see each other almost every day. So Carlos is the same thing. They all knew what I did. So blah 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 blah. So how about this? Would help me with that. How come she's always like this? Why does she take everything personally? How come she's like, totally fine 1 minute and completely crazy the next? Like, I don't understand. I do exactly what she wants me to do. She's even more mad. What the hell, right? Like, all the stuff that the guys are challenged with. And then the girls got wind of it. So now the girls, anyway. So
yeah,
Carlos was one that was probably in the beginning of all of this with this sort of networking place and developing my business, and got himself a cute little girlfriend. And then, of course, because it's natural, there was issues and problems and stuff that they were colliding with. And he says, "Can you help us?" I'm like, "Well, yeah." So we became a client. And it was little stuff, right? She didn't understand that he wanted to keep his own money or have his own savings account, and she could have her own savings account. She had a problem with that, right? Simple stuff like this, logistical stuff, where she just thought that was shady. I'm like, I have 9 accounts. Right. Like between me and my wife, you know what I mean? Like we both have checking, we both have savings. I have an account for cars, I have an account for vacation, I have an account for emergencies. I have 9 accounts.
Right.
So she's got all big eyes. I'm like, so and you can have your own savings. Like you can have your own savings for the stuff that you want to save for, the money you make, right? You got the pot that goes for the community. And anyway, so that was one of the things I remember helping them with, like the logistical. And she just had a real problem. Like he's trying to hide money from me, or he's trying to hide something from me, right? To the feminine, anything hidden is always a threat of what's he thinking, what's he doing, where's he going, what's up with that, what's he planning on? Is it away from me? Is it that? And the brain goes, "Whoa!"
Right.
This is why you can leave the house and she's happy. You come back at the end of the day, she's not talking to you because she did all this by herself.
Is that when you kind of realize that you could help both masculine and feminine?
Yeah. So I now know, I've been doing this long enough that I know how we trigger them and I know how they trigger us. And I know that we don't know that we're doing it when we're doing it because our action to them seems odd, curious, different, disconnected, cold, shallow, self-centered, right? Like, so to them, that's like they get all their feelings hurt. But we operate in a way that we don't operate through our feelings. We're logical and linear. We get what needs to be done and we lock it in and we go, what? Just right. And then we give them advice the way we give advice to each other as men. Can you just stop and do one thing at a time? Can you finish something before you start something else? That's making you crazy. And it's making me crazy because you complain about, right? And they can't do one thing at a time. Like they can't. They're multitaskers. They're gatherer, right? Hunter
Okay.
gatherer. We're still
Sure.
driving us. So when they understand, okay, this is what she's driven, and so I come in between and I explain man to women, women to man, and it's kind of fun because I tell them that's the way I see it. I have the owner's manual on both sides. Here you go. Which one do you want? Which one do you want?
Well,
'Cause-
bro,
oh,
I gotta admit,
yeah,
so like
yeah.
I have them, and I have questions, and I'll
Bring
get some
it.
of those. But when I did, when we were getting ready for the summit, I
Yeah,
definitely absorbed a lot of your content.
you did.
And yeah, oh yeah, like I did. I like I
I'm curious. I want to hear some of that stuff because I don't know.
they brought up questions. So like we let's be honest, we weren't sure how many people were going to show up. We didn't sure how many questions we'd have. So I
Sure,
wanted to make
sure.
sure that I had everything there. And like
And by the way, you did a great freaking job with it. You
oh,
did it.
thanks.
You really worked it out. Like seriously, you let us. You collect. And it was really really awesome.
You guys were great to work with. You guys made it easy, man. So thank you for being you. That's for sure. And the question I'll get to at the end is kind of
Yeah.
fun. I'm sure we'll have a good time. But so like there was a comment you made, and I maybe it's a podcast. I don't know, maybe, but 5 things that men need to commit. I wanted to ask you, what are the 5? Like you talked about the 5 things that men need to commit. Does
Yeah,
this
so
sound familiar? Okay.
no, I'm very familiar with this. Actually,
Okay.
document when people are clients of mine. This is one of the documents, ladies, right? Like, because women have no idea what makes a man commit, and we don't even know how to explain.
No,
what commit.
no.
Like this is why I was confused because the guy cannot say why do I want to commit to her. Like,
yeah,
right?
I turn it into a joke. I always say the best thing about commitment is the first syllable, but that's just my joke. Like I don't. Yeah, you can use that one, bro. You can use that with your clients. You're like, hey, I was talking to this crazy guy on the Swipe Wrong podcast. This is what he said. So, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna use this. This is what guys say sometimes. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. It's one time at band camp.
So I decoded, like the working with men, and again, it's interesting because men and women don't understand that, and men don't understand it either. It's fascinating to be my business and watch things unfold, develop, how things turn out, how people think they communicate, but they're not, though they communicate even in non-communication. It's amazing. It's really amazing. The human condition to me makes my head crack. I love it. I dissect it, I take it apart in little bits in it. So that's how I could break it down. And all my, I'm trained by 5 masters in the field. So I'm standing on the shoulders of these people who've done work before me that I learned from, and then my own on top of this. So it's fun because I could actually help the dynamic of relationship, men, women, and all of that, the communication part, all the way down to the things that we don't understand in an anthropology way, in a psychology way, in a chemistry way, in a human behavior way, right? And in a nature, because everything I teach is nature in a scientific way. So everything I teach is not even my opinion; it's science and nature plus chemistry, psychology, and anthropology. So everything is dissectable in different angles with these people that I train under. So, and they all come together on the other side. So each of them had a kind of specific kind of linear study into the human condition. But when you study deep into each separate, the way I did it, which is just, I didn't plan for it, just kind of came to, it all connected together above all of it, if that makes sense.
No, sure.
So like, bring it. I could, bring it. I could break it down for you and explain to you.
So what are the 5 things? Like for
the 5 things
the 5 things.
If I broke them down really quickly, is again, and they go kind of one at a time. Like there's the first one, there's the second one as the relationship kind of deepens.
Okay.
Because it takes an entire year. Nobody knows this. It takes an entire year to know the person that you're with. 12 months minimum. There's like cycles of building a relationship that we think we're all individuals and independent, and we just sort of, everybody bounce around the way they bounce around. Well, like nature we have days, we have weeks, we have months, we have seasons, right? Believe it or not, the building a relationship has 4 seasons.
Okay.
They're very, very specific, and we don't, if you pay attention, there it is, it's always the same. So part of the four seasons, like the connection and the commitment comes slowly and different steps for men getting there. So
there was one quote that you had that I loved, and it might have been when you're on camera. I'm not sure, but nothing is random. I think that is so dead on.
Nothing is random. Nothing is random.
Yeah, everything happens for some like life happens for us, not to us. Nothing is random. Things like that can totally come through. But yeah, I mean, I think like a couple people would talk about the unlock code or the cheat code, but I think the things that men need to commit, that's a cheat code in itself.
Yeah. So and this is the stuff, this is sort of an internal, what do we call it? This is how internally men process. It's not really a thought process. I'm gonna use a phrase that men kind of finally put together, because you have to dig into men and they go, but we'll put words to it. What is the damn words that come with that feeling, right? Or that sort of, why is she a yes as opposed to a no? Because that's really what it is. Men are very binary, right? And when it comes to women and dating especially, but we're binary with everything, it's a yes or a no. She's a yes or a no. So, you go out with a girl and you saw they go, she's all right, but that's a no.
Right.
She's lovely, but she was pain in my ass. She was lovely, but she interrupted me 1,600 times. She was great. She was pretty. She smelled amazing. I thought she was awesome. And then, she started interviewing me, and I didn't get a freaking word in, and I don't know who she is, right? She never stopped talking, whatever it is. So that's a no, that's a no, that's a no. So men just go, they really step in more or they step out.
Okay.
So these questions, these answers I'm giving you are not things that it's kind of putting words to how they experience, this is a yes, this is a yes, this is a yes, this is a yes. So the first thing typically in the beginning of a relationship, as it's starting to look like it's in the beginning, means you know each other, and it's the first 3 months. I talked about the 4 seasons. The first 3 months of relationships, we call it the perfect the perfect season. It's where everybody behaves, beautifully. Nothing bothers anybody. Nobody is, you can't do any wrong. It's all about the chemistry of it and getting to know each other. It's all butterflies and rainbows, right? It's the honeymoon phase. That lasts 3 months. If you see each other once or twice a week, it lasts 3 months.
Okay.
Because the only variable here is how often you see each other. If you see each other 4 or 5 times a week, like one of my clients was just doing, that moves the scale a little faster. Not that much, by the way, which is interesting.
Okay.
So first 3 months, right? So as this 3 months kind of completes, and then there's continues in the second phase is between 3 and 6 months. It becomes the imperfect phase. This is when people get real, right? When you actually get to experience a little bit more of who that person is. And what I mean by that is they start doing things they didn't do before. They kind of loosen up the reins, right? They don't have that perfect thing on. We're all trying to hide our flaws and bring forth our qualities. It's so silly because it's such a game, but it's instinctual. We do all of it.
Right.
I had a client who said to me in the imperfect phase of her getting to know her boyfriend, she's like, so he started burping the alphabet and he thinks it's really funny. And the look on her face, like, well, that's kind of new. I'm like, welcome to, this is who you're dating. Like he's showing you, he's starting to put down the facade and show, right? And she's all like, okay, all right, let's see what else is gonna come next. And I go, be ready for more. He's gonna let go and become himself. We can't all pretend, right?
Right.
And my favorite is a dude said to me, he goes, dude, what the dude, yeah. She takes a shit with the door open now. What is that? And he was
it's a whole new level of intimacy. That's a whole new level of intimacy. Right?
People chill, right? So in the imperfect phase, right, is when you kind of start watching and calibrating things. So between 1 and 2, the first question men will ask himself, again, it's not really a phrase, it's sort of like, it's like, is she easy and fun to be with? That's in the beginning phase of it, right? Is she easy and fun to be with? Because as you know, men, we like things simple. We want peace in our relationship. We don't want conflict. We don't want crap, right? We want peace and harmony. We want, so if she's not fun and easy, she's a pain in the ass from the get-go. Like I said, on the first date, that happens sometimes. On the first date,
Right.
you know, they'll go like this. This is the guy, like, this is the girl across from them. like, go ahead, say the wrong thing. Go ahead.
Sure.
Go ahead,
Yeah.
right? Just wait. Like, he's like, what the hell? Like, this is fun and peaceful and harmonious. This is attitude quality in my life. She's got an attitude.
Yeah.
And sometimes the attitude is like they hate dating. Ladies, if you're listening, like, to hate dating this is how you destroy everything. Like, if you already have negative energy with the guy that you just met the first time, where the hell do you think he's gonna go?
Yeah, there's your
Because
sales
he's looking
pitch.
for fun. He's looking for fun and like easiness.
Yeah.
You have attitude. You wait for to say the wrong thing. You hate dating, right? He's not exactly as tall as you thought he was. Right?
Yeah,
So
sure.
that's what I'm saying. So first stage of a man committing is easy, fun to be with, and it's more fun to be with her than I want more of her, right? It's easy. So phase one, not this one. I keep pulling the same document. All right, number two, as the relationship progresses, and this happens rather quickly too in the interaction with each other, is, again, it's not a complete thought process. It's a pulling at him. It's a version of, do I feel more like a man when I'm with her?
Okay.
Do I feel more like a man when I'm with her? Again, it's implied. And what that means is she condescending? Is she disrespectful? Right? Does she tell me what to do? Is she mothering me? Are you gonna wear that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that takes your balls off, right? That takes your balls off. A woman is not supposed to drive you, and certainly not guide you and teach you and correct you like your mother.
Right.
Now, a lot of women in our world who are strong, independent, powerful, right, have this sort of pace of speaking, talking, guiding, and being corrective with everybody. Have you noticed that? They want to correct everything, right? Yeah. Well, if you're going to be with a man, you can't be his mother, because every time you correct him, tell him what to do, right, or whatever, it's disrespectful. So that takes his balls off. So do I feel more like a man? Is she cool? Is she allowed me to lead, and take an adventure the way I want to? It's like, can we communicate? And she's respectful in the negotiation, as opposed to, hell, we're not doing that. What are you thinking? Right? Like, simple stuff like this, but the way we experience women sometimes, they don't even know. Right. And the radar is, do I feel, does she allow me to be a man with her, which makes me feel more like a man? Gotcha. So I want to provide, I want to protect, I want to cherish her, I want to give. But some women are so tough that they won't let men provide for them. They want to even out the score. That's disrespectful to masculinity. And they can't feel like a man with her. She can't see even out the score, right? That's part of our culture, the 50-50 in our culture, that doesn't really work. It doesn't work. 50-50 in that way does not work. It neutralizes men's hero energy.
Well, that's what you talk about too, with equality being the kiss of death, right? It
is. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Now, in business, it's fantastic. With your friends, it'll be irritating, but it won't break the deal. But with relationship 50-50, when you depolarize the masculine and feminine magnet, everything in nature is polarized. Everything that works, expands, and flourishes is polarized. There's a yin and yang. There's a yin and yang to everything. Right. And we think by like equalizing men and women is evening out the playing fields makes a more fair playing field. I mean, I get it on paper. It sounds like, wow, that's a great idea, right? Like soften the men, empower the women. Playing fields are even. It's going to work, and it does for business. It actually works for business. In relationship, bye. You're going to be a client of mine, or you're going to find yourself in divorce court, because it's not how it works. This is act backwards of what nature does naturally. Okay. You don't even, there's nothing in nature that is equal. The female and the male are never the same. They don't have the same role. They don't have the same purpose. Like, they complement each other. They don't equalize each other. They don't do the same thing. And nowhere in every species. That's the only way the species continues, yin yang, masculine, feminine. Right? The way I say it, to be crass, I'm a race, so you can handle it, and I'm sure your audience can handle it.
Yeah.
It's like, we're as equal as the genitals.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ha, not at all. Complete opposite, but guess what? Made to fit.
Right.
Everything about us is in opposition and made to fit. Men are not women. Men don't talk like women. Men will never talk like women. They will never be sensitive like women. They will never be vulnerable like your girlfriend. They don't talk to you for hours, right? I know you'd like them to. It'd be a lot more fun and comfortable. And freaking possible. That is not nature. And the guy who does that, you don't like him. He's a wet noodle, right? So nothing about him makes you feel safe. So what men do instinctively, naturally, and women are is in complete opposition. And so try to even out men and women is a kiss of death. You want the magnet. You want the magnet. You want the complementary. I'm just saying, I could do this all day long,
Well,
right? So
no, but so that leads to your other, like, again, I've heard it, and I think you even sent it, like
yeah,
the push pull. Why? I mean, how does the push pull relationships?
that's it. Push pull relationship is there's a bunch of reasons for this, but there's a push pull when she wants to lead and he wants to lead, right? Now we're pushing on each other. Now we're having a fight. You know what I mean? So
Right.
and then if he doesn't want to lead, then she wants him to lead, right? Now we're falling apart, and the whole thing goes flat. And now she's frustrated, and he's lame, and he doesn't make any decision. And how come he can't take charge? And he just blah. Right?
Right.
There's also
Right.
a push. There's also a push pull in the attachment style, right? We talked about the three attachment style: anxious, avoidant, and secure.
Mhm.
People who've had bad childhood or poor moral modeling in parenting, or parents that did not bond with them or were not secure that they were loved and cherished as children, grew up to be anxious in relationship and or avoidant. The people who were
Okay.
secure had good role modeling, good parents. They felt love at all times. They could make mistakes and the parents still loved them. They knew this. They could be humans and mess up and still be okay and not feel like, they're failures and they need to be rejected, right? But people
Right.
who are anxious and avoidant really so the anxious people are afraid, get this, the anxious people are afraid to be dropped. They're codependent, but they're afraid. So they're afraid that they get in a relationship and they're going to be abandoned.
Right.
Right. So
Right. For sure.
that's the anxiety they bring to, which actually will make the relationship fail eventually, because the anxiety is not peace. Right.
No, I'll take over.
Avoidant people are people who are afraid to get sucked in and lose themselves in a relationship.
Right.
Again, it's that attachment style that is broken, in childhood, afraid to lose yourself, afraid to be abandoned. Now, get this, it's interesting. Typically, afraid to lose yourself is the masculine. Men don't want to lose their freedom,
Okay.
but they don't actually don't understand the freedom of relationships. So that's a whole different topic. But that's like the gist of it. Like the feeling is that I don't want to lose myself in this relationship. I don't want to lose my freedom. I don't want to lose, I don't want to change things. I want to be dependent and responsible for her feelings.
Right.
So that's typically masculine. Though a lot of women who are masculine, like entrepreneur women, go girl, boss babe, also go, I don't want a boyfriend because I'm so busy. I don't want to be distracted. So, right. So avoidant, it comes from there, which is masculine. Anxious, afraid to be abandoned, which is usually feminine. Women are afraid to be abandoned. Like
Sure.
on the cave woman level, right? Like anthropological level, a woman being abandoned back in caveman era is pretty much dead. If she's alone in the field, she's going to get eaten by the bear or being, attacked and raped and taken to the other tribe. And you know what I mean? She's dead. So women need a man to feel safe and or a community, other women in the tribe, but to be abandoned by the man who's supposed to love and protect her, there's literally a feeling of death, right?
Gotcha.
So you see it? So it's interesting.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
another way people push and pull on each other depending on their
Yeah.
past, which which could totally be cleaned up, by the way.
Yeah.
Very easy to
Well, it
clean.
sounds like that's probably a lot of work that you have going on with your clients, huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like people go, is that really possible? Yeah, hell yes. Bring it.
Yeah. Yeah. Bring it.
Bring
Hell
it.
yeah.
Like seriously, you want to be liberated, you want to be free, you don't want to stop being anxious and trying to stop this pull in, pull out, make the partner crazy, and eventually they go, get the hell away from me, make up
Right.
their damn mind, right? Like
Right.
because people who are secure won't dance with that for a second, and the other two, you'll make yourself crazy anyway. So
Yeah.
for the
Yeah.
quality of life, clean that shit up.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
There's
on
enough
you.
anxiety going around.
All right, so
Well,
Keep
as I
going?
say, well, yeah, keep going. Yeah, yeah. What we have, two
So
more or something, I think. Yeah,
we have three more. So
three more.
those are
Sorry, my apologies. Yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
number three. Huge. This one is huge, huge. Big H, big U, big G, big G, huge. And you'll relate to it right away, right? This is like as I'm stepping in, like I'm stepping in, I'm stepping in, I step in. Like
Uh-huh.
this is working, and now so it keeps getting thicker and thicker. But number three is, does she get me?
Okay.
You feel it? Does she
Yeah.
get me, right? Does she
Sure.
get me? Like, get this. I'm a car guy. I'm a car guy. I'm an artist. I'm a coach, and I'm a freaking car guy. That comes from my family, and I got it from my brothers and my dad. So I collect cars. I have old cars. Right. So one of my favorite things to do on the weekend is get in my sports wagon, pull my tools in the back, and go to the junkyard. Now in California, right, we have these junkyards. You like
Yeah.
eight acres of car just junk. You pay $2 to go in, and you go take whatever part you need from the car that is the part that you need from.
Right.
Now 8 acres of land of junk of metal that are somewhat organized per brand, but not really. Right? So it
Totally.
becomes a hunting ground, right? Like every hunter instinct that I have to find the car that I need, and the car part that I need on that car is the part that typically fails on that car. So I have to be the first one to get to that car because the other guy who has that car wants the same part that I want, right? So there's a kind of a hunter, like dom 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 dom, as I'm
Right.
going from road to road to road, trying to identify, pick up the car, get. So it's this excitement, this hunting.
Sure.
It triggers my dopamine. It's fun. You know, I love the sun. So I'm in the sun, in the metals, the smell of gas and oil. I freaking love it. I
Yeah.
freaking love it. I was born under a car, right? So the smell of gas and oil, like just in that, my shoes are filthy. I come out looking as black as this. Like I look like a homeless guy when I get out of there. I look like a homeless guy. It's hysterical. And I'm sitting
Nice.
there. I sit next to the roach coach of my burrito, right? And I look like a homeless guy.
Putting in work, bro.
Right, seriously, but I'm telling you, it makes me happy. It just
Yeah.
connects with all the senses of me and all that instinct and the finding that part and having fun doing it, and being
Yeah.
around the smell of this stuff and the other guys. To my wife, it's absolutely insane.
For sure.
Like, she's a ballerina. She's classy. She's beautiful. She's elegant. Right.
Right.
She's a high heel girl.
Right.
Right. But if so. A lot of women, does she get me? Is that a lot of women don't understand what drives their man, because after work, our hobbies is what connects us back to ourselves, and that's important. So, like, women sometimes make the mistake of like, that's so stupid. Why do you do that? And try to
Right.
pull him away from the stuff that crank him, right? Kind of back to his core, back to his soul, back to the love. Whether he's collecting stamps, which some guys love that shit, right? Or
Sure.
coins.
Sure.
Whatever, going to the junkyard or whatever. He likes hiking. Let him freaking hike, right? Let him rock climb. Like these things that you think are dangerous and stupid. Like if you take away his hobbies, the thing that makes him tick, he will not marry you. He will not commit. You're going to be his enemy. He's going to have to fight for himself to be himself within all this. My wife doesn't have to get that I love the junkyard. She just gets that I love the junkyard. She doesn't have to understand it. She's like,
Sure.
and sometimes she'll go, like, she'll see me stressed out or wigged out, a really rough week, a long week, whatever. She's like, so, how about you go to the junkyard tomorrow? Because she knows I come back like I've been rolling in shit, like like a pig and shit. It makes me happy, right? And I come out and look what I found. I got it. I finally got it. That little, like the little post part that I needed for the whatever.
Right.
And she's like, "Well, good for you, right?" So to get
good for you. Yeah, that's great. That's
she didn't have to mean it, right?
Right. She's happy, you're happy, but she doesn't get why. I get it.
She gets what works for me, whatever it is. Right?
That's cool.
If you don't get the man, and if you think what he does to recharge, to get the juice back in his life, to kind of really outside of work, like this is our hobbies, whatever it is, like turn to his crank. Do not take it away from him because he will get away from you.
Right.
This is how he loses his attention and commitment. So that's number 3.
Right.
Number 4. Now this comes into, we're into So perfect phase first 3 months, imperfect phase the second 3 months. The 3 to 6, the 6 to 9 months is the negotiating phase. This is
Okay.
where we start. We're in enough, right? We're not perfect, and we know each other's quirks. And
Yeah. Yeah.
he burps
He
the
belches
alphabet,
the alphabet. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And she shits with the door open, whatever.
Right. Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean? And you see things that you never saw before and all that
Right.
jazz, but nothing is a deal breaker. It's interesting because it takes till the 9 months to find out if you have deal breakers in a relationship. It's interesting. We could pretend and put it on and hide it till about 9 months. And then, the guy who you thought was really fun turns out he's a drunk.
Yeah.
It takes that long to get there.
Yeah.
And now if that's the deal breaker, then this is when it stops. Like, so think of how many relationships, I'm talking to the listeners and maybe you as well, ended at 9 months.
Sure.
Because at 9 months, if there's a deal breaker, it's either there's a deal breaker or you actually realize that you're not in sync, that you want a different future. So there's a place where you can't see the future of that person. It takes 9 months to go, I think this could work, or this is never going to work. This is not going to work. I could see it. I'm not sure that we're not congruent. We're not compatible. Right? We want different things. He's fun, but he's way too much fun. He wants to party much more than he wants to take things seriously. He doesn't, he's not going to be able to provide the life, right? Whatever. It's interesting. So
Right.
by the time you get to 9 months, and then all of a sudden the future for both, it's interesting. It's for both that you could look. Now there's no deal breaker, and you can look at the future because from 9 to 12 months is we call the commitment phase. This is where you actually see, this could work. This looks like this could work,
Sure.
which is interesting. Which comes number 4. He's going to ask himself, can I provide for her?
Yeah.
Right? Can I take her on? Because we know, this, that if you commit to a woman, you take her on.
Right.
That means that you have to, you have to adjust your life to it. You have to, now she's integral, what's that word?
Integral. I got you.
Thank you.
You got it.
Integral
You had
part
it.
of your life and the dynamic. So you think of you and her, right? It's not just you anymore. It's you and her, right?
Yeah.
And now you have a future kind of. Can I provide for her? Like, can I really keep her in a lifestyle that she's used to, that I want to provide? And for
Right.
some men, they'll stall there because they're not really making the money, to do this, and that often will stall. And some women are understanding, because men will say this all the time: "I'm not ready.
Yeah.
I'm not ready to marry you. I'm not ready for, the big one. I'm not ready to get engaged." And women take that like, "Well, we love each other." He goes, "Yeah, I love you, and I'm not ready." Like,
Right.
I have this mechanical, this system, this logistical way. I need me to be more here financially, or
Yeah.
with my career, so that I can know that I'm able to take care of you,
Right.
because it's my job and I want to take care of you. I will take care of you. I'm not ready. And if I'm not ready, it's going to be a hell of a struggle for both of us. I don't want that. And
Yeah.
that's his masculine leadership again. So that's a huge question, right? As we step in. And the very last one, number 4,
All right.
typically, this is actually, if it's a man, right? I told you that my world is distinction, boys, guys, and men,
Sure.
right? That doesn't apply to all 3 types. That applies to the man who want to build. Just saying, that's a whole different conversation. But these are the questions that men kind of, yes, you have to be a yes on each one of them for them to commit. So the last one, drum roll. You ready?
Yeah.
Can I make her happy?
I
You
like
feel it?
that one. Yeah.
It's fact, right? Like, how many times, how many times I hear the story? Like, she wants me more like this. I mean, she wants me more like that. She wants me more like this. She's trying to change him. It's not this enough. It's too much of that, right? Which is disrespectful, by the way. Very mothering. Women don't understand that. Women like to have the things the way they want them. I get it. There's an instinct. There's a cave woman instinct in that. There's a whole other thing. I can explain it. I'm not going to do it here, but my point is, it's not shitty. It sounds shitty. It's not. It's kind of a instinct there, because if it doesn't feel right, then they don't feel right. They don't feel right, then nothing good comes out, and they're uncomfortable, and blah, blah, right? So
Yeah.
they're always trying to correct and autocorrect on both ways in order to feel good. So if he does this and she doesn't like it, why do you, right? And she start picking at him. That's also not, that's part of not getting him, right? But if she, like, men have said to me, like, you know, I make the plan, I make the date. She wants me to make the plan. She makes the date. She wants to be more romantic, right? And I make an effort. And I do all this, right? And I go, so it's a fun evening. Yeah, but I didn't feel like Italian food.
Mm.
And he goes, why? This comes up a lot. Ladies listening, please pay attention, right? Like if you want men to stick around, and I'm just saying, if you don't listen to nothing I said, but if you're interested in building something with a man, the guys will say stuff like, how come I can't get, so that's the delete of the whole effort, right? Like, like it wasn't perfect, so it all gets deleted. I didn't feel like Italian, or it was too late, and I didn't like that, or whatever. And what happened is it kind of deletes the effort, and the guys will say, how come I can't get like 80% for that? I get zero because there was one thing wrong, or the timing was wrong, or like, how come I can't get like 80? Like, way to go, babe, and maybe next time we could go somewhere else, or you could run it by me, or go earlier, right? But it's always like they feel squashed, like squashed. And what happens with this is, if I can't make you happy, there's always something wrong. I can never get it right. Guess what? I ain't putting no ring on it. I ain't committing to that. It's impossible again. Right?
That's the anxiety and abandonment coming in too, right? Like, you're not going to feel secure.
Well, like, you won't be able to win ever with her.
Yeah.
So why, again, if you consider that we ultimately want peace and harmony, and actually she's supposed to be a source of inspiration and joy and uplifting, right? When a woman's happy, life is good. You know what I mean? Yeah. And this is why we want to keep them comfortable and happy, because when she's happy, I'm happy. When she's good, I'm good. Right? Yeah. She feels sexy, she's just sexy, right? So it's how she feels uplifts me when it's on a positive, on the good side. That's why men will kill themselves at work to keep women comfortable. And the idea of paying for her to be comfortable and making sure she doesn't work too hard, so she's rested and comfortable, and she has the energy to be nurturing and to be present, and right? That's the yin yang again. It's nature. Right. So why do men kill themselves? To keep women comfortable, because when women are happy, I'm so good. I am so good. And when she's stressed out and anxious, I want to get away from her. Yeah. So do not and by the way, men will be in relationships and in marriages for years, and this is when men leave. This is the exact words that men use to leave the relationship, their marriages. I obviously can't make you happy. I'm not Mr. Perfect, so I'm going to release you to the universe, to the world, whatever, so you find you're Mr. Perfect, because it's obviously not me. Yeah. Now they're completely defeated. I can't make her happy. It's a kiss of death. I'd rather just cut her out, because it's torturing me, because all I want is for her to be happy, because when she's happy, she uplifts me, she inspires me. Yeah. She makes me be bigger. So, ta-da! Yeah. 5 things that men need to commit.
I love that. I mean, that's money. That's because, like, I'm saying, oh yeah, I've been there. Oh yeah, done that. Oh yeah, got the t-shirt. But you do both sides. You do both sides. Yes. So what makes women happy? I guess I gotta be fair credit. So what's the other side?
Oh, beautiful. So instinctively, women need to feel safe.
Okay.
Now we don't understand that, because we don't have that on our radar, on our physiology, right? We're bigger and stronger, and we take that for granted, right? When was the last time that you ran to your car in the dark?
Yeah, I mean, I never ran to my car. Yeah,
never. Right?
Maybe when I just got out of Friday the 13th and things were in my head, but that was it.
But you know what I mean? Like, we don't.
Yeah, totally.
We don't have a sense, not even an iota of context of being physically unsafe. We're not afraid of escalators, or elevators and parking lots and skinny hallways. We're not afraid of all that shit. Right. We're not afraid of a van on the side of the road if I have to walk by with it. So they're never without it. They're very conscious that they're smaller and weaker, and they could be taken over really easily physically. Mm-hmm. We don't have a clue of this. So women have to be safe with us in order for anything good to happen between men and women. They have to feel safe physically, which is, this is why we put our arms around them, hold their hands, walk on the traffic side of the road, right? They need to feel safe physically, that is bigger and stronger. So if somebody breaks into the house, he's not going to push her in front of him. Some losers do this, put their wives in front of them. Like, just use her as a shield. Yeah, is that safe?
Right.
Is that safe? Right? Like, so who's the stronger? Anyway, so she needs to feel safe physically. She needs to feel safe emotionally, which means that she knows that you care and cherish and love her. Now, that comes in a variety of ways that she needs to, that shows up for her, right? To be attentive, right? To talk to her, to connect with her, like all these things. For women, the safety and connection, that's when they get to that grooving, happy place. So this is also why they talk so much, by the way, because this is connection by talking is to them a connection that soothes them. Okay. Right? The more, as long as they're talking, they feel connected, they're good. Yeah. We don't talk like they do. And we often give them the one-word answer, so they think that we don't care for them. Because if a woman to woman, if a woman gives them the one-word answer, something's wrong. She's mad at her. Right. So, like, often they think we're mad at them, but we refuse. Well, it's interesting. So communication, conversation, connection to conversation, and feeling safe is primary for women to be good. So we have to bring that to them, for them to let go and be vulnerable with us, and let us be men with them. So, physical safety, emotional safety, like I said, that one goes into layers and layers. It's fun to learn. It's not that hard. It's really not that hard. But having no concept of that, we constantly screw it up. Okay. And they can't believe that we're not aware of that, because they're so aware of that. They're so part of their at each breath they take, right? So we often will freak them out and scare them without even knowing. Yeah, because it's not on radar. But to them, it's like so obvious. What a jerk! Yeah, right? What a jerk! We should know.
Well, it's the mind reader stuff you said before. Like
that's another one.
Kind of mind reader. We're not mind. I can't even read the Starbucks menu. I can't read anybody's mind. Come on.
Yeah, but it's interesting. Women, because of their intuition, often can have a sense of who we are quickly, and it can expect and preempt our actions of what we need, right? Because they're paying so attention to how we function. And so if we don't do that back to them, you're a douche. You don't care. You don't care, right?
True story.
How many times did I hear, he's known me long enough, he should know blank, blank, blank. I'm like, honey, get over that. That's a girl thing. Man, don't do that. Let that go. But anyway. So
100%
physical safety, emotional safety. The third one is financial safety. That's huge, right? A woman needs to feel financially secure. They worry about money in a way that you can't imagine. Their brain always goes, what if, what if, what if, what if? Yeah, sure, but what if? Well, we need a new car. Yeah, but what if something happens and we don't have the money to, right? Like there's an anxiety about money that women have that men don't have. Okay. So, the enough button on financial is often difficult for women. Okay. And it's interesting because for women who are entrepreneur, that's typically the safety valve that they're looking for to fill up the other ones that are missing. Does that make sense? Okay. Mm-hmm. So entrepreneur women who tend to be masculine are emotionally unsafe. Physically, it's relative because our culture is relatively safe, but women that are emotionally unsafe, not connected, have no relationship with men, will jump into hyper gear with financial safety because they have to provide for themselves. They're alone in the world, so they have to be their own man, but it makes them codependent on the other side, if that makes sense.
Yeah, sure.
If these four, because there's 4 layers of safety for women, if one is missing, they become twisted. Okay. And they become hyperly focused on the one, and it actually keeps the others from happening, or they become codependent in the other. It's crazy stuff. It's so human condition. I love it. So financial safety, some women get stuck on that one, the ones we call gold diggers, right? They cannot get emotional safety from men, so they only see men as a wallet. That's a broken feminine, right? It is fascinating. So there's all these layers. Ultimately, you need all 4 to be balanced, and women actually can let go and be vulnerable and get and groove with us as long as they do the 5 things that allow me to commit to her, right?
Which we talked about, yeah.
We talked about.
Yeah,
So
which is good.
and the fourth thing that women need is spiritual safety,
Okay.
a sense of bigger than her that women have natural. By the way, it's interesting. In our culture, we kind of get rid of this. So a lot of women are struggling with their spirituality, and it's funny because a true feminine woman, like I meditate every day. That's how I get body centered, so I can be present for my clients. Right? Like I have to be clear all the time to be doing my job. So I meditate to get present. I meditate to get clear. I meditate to open up the channels because I download stuff from up there. Whatever. So I know this. I understand that's what I have to do for me to be good at my job. But some women who the natural feminine is always connected to spirit. And women will say to me, like, that's so funny, you guys, you poor guys have to meditate, because I'm always there. I'm always connected to God, the spirit, the universe, whatever you call it, right? Like a source. The true feminine is always connected. And there's a kind of safety in that she's always protected, she's always safe, right? She's guarded, right? Some people call them guardian angel, whatever. There's a safety in that. And there's a knowing that they actually get connected to things that I'll give you an example. I had a client who was pregnant and the baby came like 3 months early. There was a bad thing that happened and whatever. So the baby's in an incubator this big, right? Way, at least 3 months or so, like premature. And so it's all plugged in and stuff and everybody's freaking out and she's not. The mother's not freaking out. And the doctor says to her, and this is her telling me this directly, the doctor came to her and says, don't make any plans with this baby. Just don't make any plans with this baby. It's bad, right? And she said the moment he said it, her first instinct was, nope, baby's going to be fine. And she's like, never panicked, never freaked out. Her mother was more freaked out. Her family was more freaked out. Oh my God, this poor little, what if she doesn't make it? Whatever. And she's like, no one can tell me this baby was going to make it.
Right.
I looked at the doctor and I'm like, she'll be fine. And it's like, no, don't make it. She'll be fine. She had a connection. You know what I mean? Like this spiritual safety. You know what I mean? And women who are feminine actually have that access to, and then often we need women to be spiritually connected to bring us into our own spirituality because we're such beasts sometimes. We're stuck in our heads on the ground. Right? Sure. We're fighters, we're warriors, we're animals, and we lose connection. We typically don't have it naturally. We're too busy fighting on the ground, right? A woman feminine who's safe with us in all the layers I talked about has access to knowledge and guidance that often can help us. So, nutshell, that's the conversation you asked.
No, of course I asked. It's good stuff. Like if people are going to take away from that. That's what I take away from that. I mean, I wrote half of them down, to be honest with you, bro. So that's
I know.
good.
I saw you do it. Good man.
Yeah, good man. Like heck yeah. Like I'm not like I'm catching up with my buddy, which is a good thing, but I'm also learning from him too. There ain't nothing wrong with that.
It's cool.
Well, so where can people find you, bro?
Okay, and also I have a gift for you listeners if you want.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Right. So people could find me the best place. You go to my website, projectequinox.net. Equinox is the perfect balance between day and light. Get it? I thought it was clever. Men, women. Right? Projectequinox.net, not .com, .net, N-E-T. And it's like, it's all connected to my TikTok, my YouTube, and the shorts, and the article, the blogs, and everything. You can spend the day on there. You can spend the day on there playing with me. There's also a lot of podcasts, a lot of podcast things, because my big mission, my God mission, I have a God mission. I used to resent it. It's interesting because I rejected all things God because of my parents and my childhood and the craziness, the cultish way they attacked all this. And it's just like, this is crap. I'm going to do this. Get away from me with this. And through this work, it brought me back.
That's cool.
It's pretty cool. For me, it's incredibly humbling too, because for me to even be able to say God out loud, it's very, very new. Like the past few years, because I completely rejected all that. But that's nothing about my life isn't godly, and nothing about my life is really truly my creation. But anyway, so my business is great. I'm busy. I'm in Los Angeles, right? Like everybody's struggling with relationship per the culture. But the big calling, right? The big calling is it's my job, along with other disruptors, right, to really change the cultural belief that's out there that men are toxic and dangerous and you can't trust them, that a woman is happy making money as long as you protect. Like all of that is kind of destroy that equality thing that sounds good on paper went too far. Equal rights, equal pay, of course, right? But the idea of equal being, this is when the wheels came off. And now in the time where everything should be like we have access to everything, we have all the choices, anybody can do whatever the hell they want. There's hardly any judgment from culture anymore, right? There's no more shame in pregnancy out of wedlock. No one cares.
Right.
You can do whatever you want. So people should be happier. They're not. This is actually the worst time in history. Just you understand the statistic on this, right? There's women are more unhappy now in the past 15 to 18 years than they've ever been in recorded history.
Wow.
Worse than their grandmothers who were oppressed and stuck in the patriarchy. Why? You know what I mean? This doesn't work, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about going back to the 50s. That's not at all I'm saying, right? People accuse me of that sometimes. Women will say, oh, should we just like dumb it down for you guys and wiggle our asses like Marilyn Monroe? I'm like, that's freaking rude, first of all. Like, that's freaking disrespectful. That is not at all what I'm saying. Right? So don't try to take me apart because you don't like the idea of men being men, women being women, and actually coming back in a dance that works. So that's what I'm talking about. There's a modern way to do relationships that work when we come together with the tools and the asset that we each bring. You know, when I bring to my wife's life, it's different than what she brings to my life, but that's a complementary, the yin yang again. You know, our genetics, or, you know, coming together, right? There's this nature in that. So if you line up with nature more than this madness that's out there, that makes no sense, you know, with a modern twist is a modern way to do this. Because these are modern times. You too could have the relationship that you want. And both sides, for men to be hold themselves accountable, to provide, protect, cherish, and give to women, to be proud of that, and to be proud of taking care of their kids, to be proud of being good providers, to build a kingdom, put their arms around all of it, and go, this is mine. I did this. A huge amount of pride in that for men, and for women to be cherished and protected, right? Again, to feel safe in the world. This is how you bring the radiance of femininity of women. When women feel safe, they radiate, they become available, they open up, they smile, they warm up the space, they change the energy around them. This is why men protect women, because that is euphoric for us. That's like the natural energies of masculine and feminine. What are we fighting this for? So anyway, the big calling is to recalibrate the culture that way. Me with a bunch of people like you, like just this podcast spreads the word. I'm hoping to bring hope to people that are listening. People who are giving up or don't understand this because the culture is not helping. And this is actually making this worse. Anyway, so that's the big goal. So thank you for allowing me to speak here and spread that around. You're helping my mission. But my gifts for you listeners, because I do a lot of podcasting for that reason, spread the word, spread the word, spread the word. Right? Who else wants to get on the wagon with me? Come on, spread the word, get it. Right. I noticed that doing a lot of podcasts, there seems to be two types of listeners. This is what I know. It's two types of listeners. So the people who listen, who are just curious, they want some information. They want information. They want information, you know? So this is my offer. This is my gift for you listeners. If you're a person who wants information, right, you could you can email me directly. I'll give you my direct email. I'm bold like that. So if you email at Andre Coaching, the number 1 at Gmail, right? Email me directly and in a subject box, just write Irresistible Book. If you want information, this is for ladies, by the way. And I'll send you a free copy of my workbooks, 30 pages. It's called The 5 Feminine Qualities High Value Men Find Absolutely Irresistible.
Nice.
This is men talking to me. This is what men say they find irresistible about women. 30 pages. I sell it on my website. If anybody sends me an email with irresistible book, I will send it to you for free.
Good, man.
So
that's awesome.
I think so. And it's
awesome.
really good. It's really good. It's really good too.
Thanks, bro. That's awesome.
So that's one. Now, if other type of listeners, people want information, and some people want to take action or to step in a little bit more. You know what I mean? Like now, it's like they heard me and they go, wait. So maybe, like they want more stuff. So same thing. If you go to andrecoaching1@gmail and in the subject box you say talk now, what I'll do is I'll set up a Zoom call, a one-on-one with that person. It takes a little courage for some people. They get all nervous. Oh my God, I get to talk to you. I mean, this is who I am. This is the guy that you saw right now. This is who I am all the time. There's no tension. There's no pressure. It's more fun and informative than anything else. But we're going to talk about your life. What's not working, where you're stuck with men, with women, the same freaking thing, right? And if you want a different future, let's have a conversation. Because I could peel the onion really quickly. I'm really good at this. Most of us are damaged in childhood, right? So how many people come at me with, what's wrong with me? I have, and they keep attracting. It never works out. I'm like, well, let's go dig in a little bit. And in 15 minutes, I swear to God, I'm like, in 15 minutes, we'll figure out where the wheels came off. Typically for all of us, in the formative years, between 5 and 11 years old, is when something in our lives happen. It happens to everybody. Nobody gets out of childhood unscathed. But we'll make decisions about people, about life, about the world, about ourselves, right? Women are crazy, men are dangerous, you can't trust anyone, whatever it is, right? This is like, it happens when we're little. And we make this decision that actually kind of get imprinted on our subconscious, and it becomes like part of the hard drive. This is what we end up seeing the world through. Like these are like we see the world through the lenses of what we believe, and then we go on a lifetime creating that. So the idea, like when people find themselves stuck in the loop, same ending, whether it's financially or relationships or right, like when you find your life in a loop and you start believing there's something wrong with you because it always goes to hell. Anyway, 15 minutes we could find out where the wheels came off, and then you really in that one call you realize that there's nothing wrong with you. This is what happened. This is why you're like this. It's not your fault. Anxious, avoidant, right? Like, you know what I mean? Yin yang, like freaked out, attracting drama all the time. Like, being miserable all the time is also an addiction from right. So nothing wrong with you. This is like, and they go, oh. So now and the good news is when you know what happened, we can undo it. So then we talk about
exactly
what's the dream, and then I'll tell you what I do and where you want to jump in if you want to jump in. I have different brackets of investment if you want to jump in and whatever. But that call alone for some people just change them completely. Like it's liberating to know there's nothing wrong with you.
Yes,
it's your crazy freaking parents that got you that way.
Yes,
this is 100%. The shit of your past. This is running you over.
100%.
Keep repeating what you know. So, two presents. Irresistible book.
You're the man, bro. I love it.
Thank you.
I love it, dude. You're just getting the word out as much as you can, which is a huge thing, man.
I mean, like I said, the mission is supposed to be Oprah big. So Oprah big, right? So okay, so I got to keep talking. So people. So
that was Oprah big. Who was it? That was Kobe Bryant's thing. I forget who asked him. He said, "Do you want to be Oprah or do you want to be O?" O is the all-encompassing, network and everything, and Oprah's the person. So you're on your way to O, bro.
Yeah.
And you're surviving with that Mamba mentality. I see it. Thank you for being along for the ride of the Swipe Wrong podcast. Remember, everyday people telling everyday stories of the swipe right world. The show is produced by Jay Pelham. He is the host of Pelham Place. So make sure to check that out. Also, I am Chaos, the host of Chaotic Commentary. Make sure to like, subscribe, follow, tell a friend about the pod. And if you have something that you want to share, please, we want to hear from everybody and get everybody's stories as much as we possibly can. Email us at swipewrongpod@gmail.com. Give us a call, leave us a voicemail, let us know if it's okay to call you back. 317-426-6616. Thanks for being along for the ride, and next week the saga continues.